Welcome back to Buffalo Plus. The Bills picking up a win today over Miami, a spooky win. Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. If you like our content here on Buffalo Plus, please be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. If you like our content, if not, no worries. But let's break down this Bills win. You like the content. Let's break down the Bills win because the first half was gross.
Ugly in all phases, ugly referee-wise, ugly Bills offensively-wise, ugly coaching-wise. I think that, this is a Brian Dable YouTube channel, along with our podcast is Brian Dable. There were just some questionable calls. They just couldn't seem to get in any kind of rhythm.
Yes.
And you go into halftime 3-3 against a team that they have dominated over the last 3 seasons. It was scary. This shouldn't have been a scary game. This was spooky. It was spooky,
and especially since we talked about it on the Buffalo Plus channel, like Josh Allen has had so much success against the Dolphins. He's usually AFC player of the week in terms of offensively after they play Miami. But yeah, today it was just like, it was so funny because I felt like, when you have a vacation and you come back, you're kind of like, yeah, you're like a soft open.
Vacation from the vacation. You're tired.
And the Bills look like that. They look sluggish. But then in that second half, things turning around. And Deion Dawkins said in terms of after the game, like at that break, the Bills were like, what are we doing? We need to play our brand of football. And you saw that.
And I think it's one thing that we've talked a lot about with players is what second half adjustments. And Sean McDermott was even asked, well, coaches make good adjustments, players made good adjustments. What does that mean? And I remember Micah Hyde earlier in the year being like, there's never this rah-rah speech at halftime. Like, this isn't a movie. This isn't like a 20-minute, break. You kind of come in, you collect your thoughts, and then you go. But Deion Dawkins said they weren't playing with that fire in the first half. And he said they lit the fire in the second half. And Jenna, lighting that fire was a lot of throwing the ball to number 10.
Yeah, and Cole Beasley, he's had a quieter year. And for him to kind of come out today, the Bills needed him. He was Josh's safety blanket today. And that's what you need. He's 32 years old. He's a guy that's had success, obviously, coming off of last season. But today, the Bills needed him to be that guy, and he was. 10 catches, 110 yards. And he talked about it. He said, look, there's a lot of playmakers on this offense. I just had to stay patient. And that's what he did today.
And it was so funny because they kept feeding him.
My hair's wild. Sorry.
And they kept throwing to him. They kept throwing to him on the second drive out of the second half. And at one point, he wanted to come out. And I was watching him and I'm filming him. And he doesn't come out, but instead he just grabs the water bottle from the trainer, takes a drink of water, and goes back in there. 2 plays later, he catches another pass, gets hit, and is like, I can't make it to the sideline. And I never thought for a second that Cole Beasley was really injured. He just was too tired to get to the sidelines and needed a break.
Yeah.
He gutted through a lot of that stuff today, took big hits, and just kept getting up. That was the Cole Beasley that was second team All-Pro last year.
Yeah.
That was big-time Cole Beasley. When Diggs is getting double covered and Sanders can't get open, it was Beasley.
Yeah, and then that really was the jump starter to the Bills' offense, finding the end zone. It was so funny, like the Bills, you can't have red zone problems if in the first half you can't find the red zone. You know what I mean?
One way to avoid red zone
you know what I mean?
Just don't get there.
Exactly, but in that second half, the throw to Gabriel Davis, who was wide open, and then, the Diggs touchdown later on, it was just nice to see Allen settle in because obviously the Bills are so much more talented than this Dolphins team, and it was nice to see them play like it as well.
This was the textbook game of when you talk about finding a rhythm and a flow and an offense getting into one. And they really did. I thought they did it too, not only with Cole Beasley, but I thought Zach Moss provided the offense better continuity. Mm-hmm. The more that he can do, the screen game, the picking of blocks, the tough runs, I thought all of that worked together. And Josh Allen, we saw in the second half, Jenna, especially late in the game, a little fiery.
A little.
Little goodbye wave by Josh Allen. And he's a guy who even said he doesn't like to play pissed off. Says he can't play angry.
Yeah.
He was angry. He was angry in the final drive.
He was.
And he was angry in the second quarter over an offsides call that was clearly offsides.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, gotten called for intentional grounding. A mess of a play. He ripped his helmet off and was screaming.
Yeah.
And he comes back in the second half, plays with the right kind of emotion.
Yes.
I think that was important.
I think it was funny when he was yelling and you could clearly see on the broadcast what he was saying. In my head, I was like, that's a very mad golden retriever. But I think he talked about it after the game, like, he needs to find Zen. And if you saw his Halloween costume, he dressed up as pro golfer Phil Mickelson. And I guess Mickelson talked to the team this past training camp and said, about finding that peace and playing from the right headspace. And I think in that first half, you saw Josh being in that pissed off side. And I think in the second half, after the play, he showed a lot of emotion. I think while he was in the huddle. And you could see, because in the press box, because I was actually filling in for Mike Catalana today.
time.
It was a big day for me. I dressed in my Halloween costume. I'm Mike Catalana. But you could see Diggs looking at Josh and being like, hey. You could see him trying to calm him down. I think you saw that.
Well, I think, and like I said, this goes back to what Deanne said, that there was no fire in the first half. I think Josh showed fire in the second half by being emotional.
Yeah.
By that was a game where he needed to show a little anger and to get in some faces and to wave goodbye to the Dolphins, a team that he has now beat 7 straight times.
That's crazy.
The offense got going in the second half. I think that's the big sign. This isn't, not all wins are created equally.
Yeah.
It's a win. You move on. The offense there is plenty to learn from. First game without Dawson Knox. I thought Tommy Sweeney filled in nicely. I just want more of Zach Moss. I really want him to be running back one, and I think Devin Singletary is the change of pace. He's the relief pitcher.
Yeah.
I want more Zach Moss. And on the other side, Jenna, defense, pretty solid.
Yeah, it's such a nice safety blanket to have because with the Bills' offensive struggles today, I wasn't so worried. Like other really great teams, no. The Dolphins are obviously not as offensively talented, but at the same point, that Bills defense offers you the ability to not panic.
Yeah.
Because of how well they were playing. Couple turnovers, that Jordan Poyer pick.
Yep.
Like we've seen this defense really be better than we expected coming into the year and just shown that consistency that I think it's so funny because you hear all the Bills players say, like, I believe in Josh Allen. Like, I know, like, and especially after the way they played in Nashville, like, later on, for them to have that effort in this game, I think it just shows that, okay, like, this team can kind of ride the wave and figure things out.
2 guys stood out for me on defense. One, Ed Oliver.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best game he has played since Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I think he was terrorizing him. We was asked, like, is this the best you ever played or is this the best you ever feel? And he goes, it's time. I'm coming off a bye. Of course I feel great. This is where it's supposed to be. It's getting to be cold weather as Jenna's shivering. Like, it's supposed to be like Buffalo weather. He's like, that's what it's coming out to. And then we did have to make fun of him because of the fact that there was a fumble and the ball was right into his lap. And we asked him how he didn't grab it, to which he said, I had it. I was thinking about getting up and running with it because I was trying to score, and then I didn't have the ball. And so he was asked after that going, next time are you just going to fall on it? And he goes, I want to score.
All right, who was your second guy?
Trey White.
Yeah.
For good and bad.
Ooh, okay.
I thought the Dolphins to a point were picking on Trey. I think he had a lot of trouble on Devontae Parker on those short routes.
Yeah.
He got beat by him a couple times, and you could see Trey emotional.
Yes.
He was like Josh. He was very upset when he would not make the play, and then when he made a play, he let you know it.
Yeah.
So he was the one I think I think they were going after him. I think he didn't like the fact that they were picking at him.
Yeah.
They threw at him a lot, and Trey White doesn't normally face that many passes.
No.
So it was very telling to me, and I thought Trey had an up and down day. But I thought he was, again, one of those emotional guys. We saw, he's a dad now. Like he's kind of calmed down.
He's quietly fiery.
Correct. But we used to see that when he was younger.
Yes. Yeah.
Now he's a dad too. I saw that. I saw young Trey. Dancing in the snow. It was cool to see. And again, need a little bit more out of Trey.
Yeah. Well, all right. The Bills, they're now 5-2 in the season. I like that you talk about how like not all wins are created equal. Because
ain't pretty.
It was not pretty, but this stretch that Buffalo has coming up, we talk so much about good teams beating teams that they're better than. What do you think the Bills learned from this game?
Not take teams lightly. I think this is just a game where matchups and how you match up against a team is crucial. I think the Dolphins did some things well against getting the ball out quicker after Tua and Jacoby Brissett were crushed in their first game. And Josh said it best. It is tough to beat a team twice. Yeah. It is a divisional game.
Yeah.
Like these teams know each other well. They were able to handle the adversity to get a win. There's no style points. They won't move up the power rankings on a lot of people.
Yeah.
But they got the win when it mattered. Now you go on the road, take on Jacksonville, take on the Jets, and move on. Lather, rinse, repeat.
Yep. All right. We'll have plenty more coverage on the Buffalo Plus channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We'll have plenty more stuff coming up this week as the Bills head to not freezing cold. I shouldn't say it's freezing cold, but it's just chilly.
Yeah, you're just soft.
I'm soft. It's fine. All right. The Bills will be in Jacksonville coming up. For Dan, I'm Jenna. Thanks for watching the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.